So, hey Andy, kind of debating about sharing today, but I am trying to be an authentic person about these things and draw awareness to them. So, um, so today I'm not having a good day. I woke up already not really having a good day. As many of you know, I have PTSD. Technically, the kind of PTSD I have is called complex PTSD, which is it's different than regular PTSD, which typically occurs with an incident or a trauma. Complex PTSD is something that is many traumas over time that really reprograms the way your brain responds to things. And so you may know that people with PTSD, we don't always have control over what our brain signals are sending to us in terms of like reactions, and it's things like sending you a panic response when there's nothing to panic about, right? Because your brain perceives some trigger in the environment that is similar to an actual dangerous situation that you had previously been in that was traumatic. Your brain has recorded this trigger as something to literally flip the switch that you now need to go into a survival mode you often hear fight, flight, freeze, or fawn are the four. It's often just referred to as fight or flight, but there's also two other options, which is freeze or fawn. And fawn means to placate. Freeze obviously means you just freeze up, and fight or flight are pretty obvious. So for me, what I'm going through right now is through no control over my own, I had a lot of nightmares last night related to seriously dangerous traumatic events that I'd been through previously. So I woke up already not feeling very well because there is leftover latent anxiety from the nightmares, which are very disorienting. They come out very realistic, and you believe that it's hard to orient yourself to where you are when you wake up in the morning and knowing what's going on and sort of trying to check in with reality of what day is it, what year is it, what's going on now, what do I have to do next. And I shook it off pretty well. I thought I was doing pretty good. I when the thing about these experiences which cause anxiety, and often, so for me, anxiety can escalate into panic and panic attacks. And I do have panic disorder along with the PTSD. I mean, I don't really know that it's a separate disorder. It doesn't really matter for me. I have panic attacks and they are part of the PTSD, and whether or not it's something that's on its own, it doesn't really matter. It occurs. So then I had to walk my dogs, and the thing about that is that I know for me, when I'm feeling in this state, additional physical activity, which increases my heart rate and increases, just getting blood flowing and everything. While a lot of people say, oh, taking a walk, it'll take your mind off it, you'll feel better. Certainly, there are situations where taking a walk is a great idea. I think when you're feeling depressed or down, getting your body moving, getting endorphins running, that's great. When you're feeling anxiety, for a lot of us, especially if we're feeling like we're close to escalating the panic, movement and increasing your heart rate and increasing adrenaline is going to feed panic. Even worse. But I had to walk the dogs. So I took the dogs on a walk knowing that I was going to have to struggle with maintaining the adrenaline and fighting that. And I did, and I was fine. And I felt really good. And I felt okay. I I sat down to work this morning and I started getting some requests, and the requests were not requests that I could address, due to a number of reasons. And I also felt that I was in a space where I needed to communicate that there had been sort of an ongoing pattern of requests that I can't fulfill, and in the amount of time being requested of me, and that I was having to say no. Basically say, I appreciate that you were asking for this right now. I need you to know this is not the first time, and it impacts me to be able to try and change my whole day. And the thing is additionally, because of what I'm dealing with, I can't change my whole day. I actually having to drop things so frequently. I get so many requests lately to drop things so frequently and change everything about my day that it is making my condition worse. So there's a direct impact on me of these requests from people who I love and respect and I work with, and it's comes from all of them. And I'm trying to establish some parameters with them to say, look, this is a concern for me. It's an issue for me, and it's not working. And also, I'm missing information that's telling me that something should be a priority, and I'm not prioritizing it because the part of it that would tell me it's a priority is not getting communicated. And simply, I'm expressing this not to say anyone's done anything wrong, but that we need to figure out what is it that you need to include in every single request to me so that I can be clear on what I can and can't do. And so, I felt that this was very reasonable, and I had even closed it saying that, I'm in no way saying anyone did anything wrong. What I'm saying is that what's occurring is causing me major problems. Major problems to the point of having to tell you I can't work with you today. Like that's, I'm not trying to do anything to upset anyone. What I'm trying to tell you is that this is a significant issue for me to be able to even do the work, because there are things that happen that I can't control. And unfortunately, these communications were just not received well. And, that's fine. We'll deal with that and deal with trying to accommodate concerns of everybody involved. However, then there becomes an additional fallout of, trying to ask people to have some understanding and just not. But regardless of what's going on, the point is that then for just have to be point blank because of the way things are dealt with, because of the way things happen, and having to deal with different people, and I end up non-functional for a day. So for me, I have now had to just call this day a sick day and see what, if anything, I am able to accomplish today. Because for me, the level of panic and adrenaline in my body is such that I have to basically remain horizontal here with Andy until I can get the psychosomatic response in my body to return to what it was at the beginning of the day. And I do want to also say this is not like it's just my brain, the things that happened that triggered this were legitimately things that could be upsetting to anyone. Um, so I'm not just saying, oh, I'm triggered by something that's like, oh, random and no one else would be triggered. No, I mean, these were things that anybody would possibly have some upset about and possibly need a few moments to sort of shake it off or whatever. The difference with PTSD or an anxiety disorder or something is that your brain has learned a pathway to trigger something in the meantime that a normal person would be, oh, I'm upset about this. Let me go take a walk, or let me go, have some tea and just take a few deep breaths, and, it's fine. I'll deal with it later. Whereas the thing that happens for me is that a survival response has been triggered. And until I can get that survival response in my brain to shut off, I don't know how much contact I can have with the outside world that I will be present to what I'm actually responding to. So, this is your insight into PTSD for the day. I don't know really what my intent was, other than just wanting to let people know that this is, you want to say just get over it. I would love to. And there are lots of things in my life I just get over because I don't have a response in my brain that does it. So if you say, oh, it's all in your head. Well, yeah, it is, because my brain is in my head and my brain is doing this. It's not a conscious choice that I make to have a reaction or to have, this. Literally, it's not even what's happening in it's like not even an emotional response. It is a physical response where my body is saying, you've got to protect yourself. This is a threat. There is a threat. And so it's not even an emotional response of, oh, I'm upset. It's not even like that. It's, I'm in danger. I have to protect myself. The big scary monster's coming after me and I have to run, or I have to fight, or I have to figure out a way to placate it. And then spirals. What I think what I don't want anyone to take away is any way of saying that this response that happens to my brain is not for me to deal with. It is for me to deal with. That's why I put my out of office responder on and say, okay, I'm sick today. That's it. Because I can't, it's just the same as if all of a sudden I got food poisoning and I was going to have to vomit all day long, and I can't deal with you. So there's that. It is my responsibility to deal with it. It's also my responsibility to say when I can start responding, when I can stop responding. And I do that too. But I also want to say that a lot of times I see with people that I talk to, in peer support groups or mentoring groups, or, even in my life, where there is the assumption that whatever triggered me was that the feeling is unreasonable. So that's actually not true. So sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like, this was unreasonable. However, oftentimes whatever happened was legitimately something that would be upsetting, or legitimately something that was insulting, or legitimately something that would make any normal person uncomfortable, at the least, upset, possibly. The difference is that person without PTSD or one of these anxiety or trauma disorders, their neural pathways allow them to deal with it differently. And with someone with PTSD, even with as many coping skills as I have, and oftentimes I don't have these responses, but there are times when something happens, it is an unreasonable request, or it is a upsetting situation, or is someone literally said something very insulting to me, and and they attacked me verbally or emotionally or whatever. That happened. It's not delegitimizing or invalidating that happened. But then what happened that goes a step further is that the brain initiated this response, and now it's something else to deal with. It's not just take a deep breath, take a walk, and okay, it's over, I'm on with my day. My brain is now dealing with the situation, and it's going to take longer than a few minutes to address it. And, my hope is that maybe by the afternoon I'll be functional again. We'll see. Right now, I'm unable to process things. So, this is the situation. That was your Monday morning insight into PTSD and panic attacks. I hope that this was helpful, and I welcome comments, questions. Would love to help address any questions people have about anything regarding this. Please remember to be kind, and please remember to be respectful in your questions and comments. Anything otherwise will be deleted, because this is about ending stigma and creating support for people who deal with these things, so that they know they're not alone. At the same time, if you do have a legitimate question about this and how it works and what you've seen or what you experienced, and asking for some thoughts, happy to contribute to a discussion that is respectful and polite and kind and compassionate. Okay, we are all human beings, and we deserve compassion and respect. All right, thanks.